Maintaining a conventional dietary or exercise plan can be challenging for most people, and I think that most people would agree that diets don't work over the longer term. That being said, there are a few proven tips and strategies that can help you eat fewer calories if you are someone who is struggling to lose weight or shift those last stubborn few pounds. So in today's video, I will go through my top 10 lazy strategies that will help you lose weight, prevent the weight coming back on over the longer term, and also we will do this in a way that you are not eating a restrictive dietary pattern or killing yourself running every day. All of these strategies are based on science, and make sure you stay until the end of the video as I have a unique bonus tip for you. Number one, many people don't realise, but gut microbes play a significant role in a person's weight, appetite, and also their food choices. You obviously have a lot of bacteria in your gut, around 7 trillion, but if you have the wrong type of bacteria, then this can increase opioid and cannabinoid receptors, and effectively this can change our taste buds, and as a consequence, this can increase our appetite. Therefore, there is increasing evidence that suggests that increasing the diversity of bacteria in our colons can help reduce cravings. Having the right type of bacterial diversity in our colons also helps control satiety. As humans, we feel satiated when we digest calories and nutrients, and anorexigenic pathways in our brains are activated by intestinal satiety hormones in the gut, such as leptin and also ghrelin. When we have an imbalance of microbes in the gut, these bacteria can and will alter the feeling of hunger and satiety in us, making us feel hungry again. One of the most interesting areas of all of this, though, is that bacteria in our guts can also control and impact on our food choices. So we eat food and then the bacteria then feed off of this, and obviously different bacteria have different food and substrate choices. Bacteroidetes, for example, prefer to metabolize fats, whereas bifidobacteria can only thrive in the presence of fiber. So if you eat a diet with a lot of processed refined sugars, the makeup of your microbiome will reflect this with the types of bacteria that are dominating. Therefore, if you want to move away from craving chocolate and pizza, then you need to create a balanced microbiome, and you can do this eating fermented foods such as sauerkraut and kimchi, as well as giving the bacteria a good source of fiber from fruits and vegetables. Number two, one of the most effective and underrated ways of maintaining a healthy weight is by getting sufficient good quality sleep. There is now an overwhelming body of evidence that says that for those who get less than 5 to 6 hours of sleep every night, then they will have an increased rate of high body mass. Having poor sleeping patterns can slow down your ability to convert calories to energy, and this process is known as your metabolism. When your metabolism is slowed, then this will cause your body to store any excess energy as fat. Poor sleeping patterns will also increase your circulating levels of insulin and cortisol, which is another mechanism that will promote fat storage. How long a person sleeps will also affect their appetite controlling hormones, which we discussed in point 1, which are leptin and also ghrelin. And it's leptin that will predominantly send signals to the brain telling you to stop eating. Number 3 is another overlooked mechanism in weight gain, in that you have to manage your stress levels. Increased stress increases the release of adrenaline and cortisol, which are some of your body's main stress hormones. Initially, this will decrease the appetite, and we've all experienced this before. You have an exam or driving test and you get anxious and your appetite suddenly drops. The problem for people who are chronically stressed, though, is that cortisol will remain in their bloodstream for longer, and this will actually, over a period of time, increase appetite and as a result, cause that person to eat more over a 24-hour period. When you have higher levels of cortisol in the blood for a longer period of time, it will send trigger signals to the brain that your body needs to replenish nutritional stores, and the optimal form for this is carbohydrates. Insulin will then help pull the glucose into the brain and cells around your body, but if you are stressed and your body is in the fight or flight mode, much of this glucose will be stored in the body as fat rather than being utilised. There are many clinical trials out there like this one that show that when you reduce stress levels over an 8-week period and utilise a stress management intervention program, you will generally see a significant reduction in body mass in obese children and also adults. That is the case even if you don't change the dietary patterns of that person. Some great things for you to adopt personally are spending more time outdoors in nature and also gardening. And things like yoga are also great for reducing your overall stress levels. Number 4 is to maybe try considering intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is a way of eating that involves regular short-term fasts, and all of your meals are condensed into a shorter eating window. Again, there are lots of studies that demonstrate for some people that intermittent fasting can be a great strategy in longer-term weight management. There are 3 main intermittent fasting methods, which are alternative day fasting, the 16-8 method, and also the 5-2 diet. Alternative day fasting involves fasting every other day, and then you eat normally on your non-fasting days. During the fasting days, you would generally eat 25 to 30% of your body's caloric needs. The 16-8 method is exactly what it says on the tin. You fast for 16 hours and then you consume all of your calories in an 8-hour window. So for example, many people would eat their calories between 9 and 5 and then fast for the subsequent 16 hours. The last fasting method is the 5-2 diet, and this essentially involves fasting 2 out of every 7 days. And on the fasting days, you would generally consume 500 to 600 calories. Number 5 is to eat mindfully. Now don't worry, I'm not going to go all hippie on you and get you to sing Kumbaya around a campfire. Mindful eating is just paying attention to how and when you eat. We all lead extremely busy lives today, and many of us will tend to eat when we can and also on the run. And usually this will be behind a desk or even in the car. As a consequence of all this, many people are really not paying attention to what they are eating. Some good techniques for mindful eating are not eating your meal in front of the TV, as for many people, this will cause them to overeat calories. This also applies to mobiles and other devices. Another really important strategy is eating your food slowly and not like it's the last meal that you're ever going to see. The reason that this is important for weight loss is that it will give the brain adequate time to recognize the gut signals that you are full, and this will help prevent you overeating. 2 other important mindful strategies that may very well help you are making considered food choices, and make sure you are choosing whole foods that will keep you full for hours and not minutes like many other processed refined foods, and also consider eating your food at a table and enjoy the experience. Number 6 is to make sure that you are eating fiber-rich foods. This will not only help feed the gut bacteria, but it will also increase satiety and help you feel fuller for longer. One of the best forms of fiber that you can incorporate into your diet is viscous fiber. Now you may not have heard of this before, and you may have heard of other types of fibers such as insoluble and soluble. But viscous fiber will form a gel-like structure when it comes into contact with water. This gel has been shown to increase absorption of many key nutrients, and it can also help slow down the emptying rate of your gut, which will ultimately keep you feeling fuller for longer. Foods that contain more viscous fibers are things like beans, oats, flax seeds, chia seeds, oranges, sprouts, and also asparagus. Number 7 is to make sure that you are eating sufficient protein. Now a great deal is made around protein online, and you will see every other influencer drinking protein shakes like they are going out of fashion. You don't need to do this for optimal health, but equally you do need to ensure that you are getting adequate amounts for obvious reasons, but also to help with appetite. Protein as a macronutrient has significant and positive effects on appetite. It can help you reduce the amount of calories that you are consuming, as well as help you reduce hunger, and it will also help increase the feeling of being full. As I've already said in this video, there are several main hormones that help regulate hunger and appetite. Protein has an impact on several of these, such as ghrelin and also GLP-1. Again, there have been a few interesting clinical trials in these areas where researchers have simply increased protein in the meals of participants from around 15% up to 25 or 30%, and generally speaking, these types of participants would eat 400 to 500 less calories a day without ever intentionally restricting calories. Number 8 is a bit of an obvious one, but don't serve yourself large portions. Use a basal metabolic rate calculator and figure out what you actually need, and then spread these calories evenly across your meals. When you put larger portions on a plate, it will encourage you to eat more calories, and this is even more true if you are regularly eating out at restaurants, etc. Studies like this one show that when appetizer portions are doubled, across the whole meal a person will generally consume around 30% more calories. Number 9 is another obvious one, but you need to cut back on those processed refined carbs and sugars. And in fact, this should be extended to all processed refined foods. When processed refined carbohydrates are made, they are often devoid of fibre and many other key nutrients. When you eat whole foods and complex carbs, the rate of absorption of sugars is slowed down. Remove the fibre and the sugars are absorbed very quickly in the upper small intestines. In this scenario, when you have high amounts of glucose quickly hitting the bloodstream, it triggers and promotes the insulin hormone to be released in larger amounts, which can ultimately promote fat storage in your adipose tissues. And obviously, more fat storage, more weight gain. Ultimately, simple things can make things easier on you. So eat whole grain rice, breads and pastas, and minimise or eliminate white varieties. Consume fruit, seeds and nuts instead of sugary snacks. Drink water or herbal teas instead of fizzy drinks, and drink smoothies instead of fruit juices. Number 10 is to drink water regularly throughout the day. If you drink water 30 minutes before your meals, it can help with weight loss for many people. There are clinical trials that have demonstrated that when a person drinks around 17 ounces of water, or approximately half a litre, it can significantly reduce hunger and also reduce the amount of calories consumed at that meal. Now we get to my bonus tip, and this is to eat your meals from red plates. Clinical trials have been carried out using plates with different colours, and the research has suggested that eating from red plates, particularly if the foods on the plate are unhealthy, can help you eat significantly less calories. The reason why researchers believe this to be the case is that often we associate the colour red with stop signals or even warning signs. Anyhow, that's the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, remember to look after your body because it's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you next time.